Ahoy there, Legion. Bit of a slow week for PC players in Warframe, but the console squad should be a-bustling with things to do now that Update 13 is finally out for y'all. That's correct. If you have not played in a few days, Update 13 should be alive and well, just a controller away. The most recent dev stream, while interesting to audiophiles, sadly had almost nothing to talk about. Though, part of what they mentioned is already in-game, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Well, if this recent dev stream was basically a bust on new information, that means I'll have to go back to the previous one. Note: most of this is planned, so while they are working on it, there is zero guarantee you will actually see any of this happening anytime soon. So let's start out with the actual for sure stuff of things they said will be in Update 14. Kubrow! These dog-like creatures are already floating in clan dojos, and will be a new option you can take with you on missions in place of sentinels. They'll be able to do everything we can mobility-wise, so they can wall run and zip line and shouldn't get stuck on anything. Basically, they are Zanukas with fur in my opinion, but we'll see how useful they are. They will also be neutral enemies that fight in packs. Again, very similar to existing enemies in place, but we'll see. There were some other things mentioned as the next 2.0, but it got a bit fuzzy. For example, other things on the horizon are Infested 2.0. Old-time players will recall these guys used to actually be on missions before they were all removed out of nowhere. Currently, they only exist as operations or dark sectors, but apparently they will start having their own places yet again, this time with a new tile set all their own. They will also get brand new sound effects to make them sound more creepy, and that was the one thing I got out of the audio dev stream. Sadly, it's also a negative, because they decided to directly copy clickers from The Last of Us, even though I enjoyed that game oh so much. Sarcasm intended. Oh, hey, look at that. There's my critique of the game just over there. How'd you get in here, you little scamp? Go on, go back to your own video. You're so crazy. These sounds are now at least partially live on PC, so head to your nearest dark sector and take a listen. The so-called fan-favorite infested boss, J3 Golem, will be the next boss revamped for the game, who will be on those new infested tile sets along with new infested enemy types. As for other tile sets, Grineer shipyards will be expanded upon in the near future, and sometime after that a new ice planet with crashed Corpus shipwrecks. Space shipwrecks? Is that a word? Either way, we'll be seeing different views of the Corpus ships than just inside of one. Star Chart 2.0. They're changing how the UI looks and feels so the universe doesn't look so small. This apparently is tied directly to Tenno spaceships. Apparently Lotus is the next space Oprah now. You get a spaceship, and you get a spaceship. Each player will have their own, and I take it this is how we've been getting from planet to planet already. But there was something I didn't like to hear, and that is it will cost something to transport the player. Does that only count for the new solar rail, like distant locations we do not already have in the solar system? Or does that imply each mission we will have a cost just to run it at all? We'll have to wait and see on this one. Also, proxy wars. Eventually there will be reputation in-game, and depending on who you side with will lower your transportation costs, which reminds me a bit of flight paths and rep grinds in WoW. Also, they hinted that, say, Alid V will pop up and request you do a mission for him and offer you some MOAs to complete the job. Of course I wouldn't take it unless it was Sarge's Ruck. Greedy milk and all that. Finally, the lens or focus update is still a ways out. This will be a way for Tenno to talent spec their output, but honestly it seems so far out I don't want to detail it too much and get your hopes up, but the higher your rank the more lenses you can equip on a max ranked item. XP you get from then on goes to the lens, and then you can go more tanky or DPSy or whatever you like with those, which reminds me a bit of Path of Exile's jewels a bit. And if you made it this far into the vidya, here's a lore tidbit for you all. Each symbol on mods apparently are tied back to ancient Tenno clans. That's all they had to say about it. But hey, lore is pretty hard to come by in Warframe, and it was out of the blue, so that's pretty nifty. But you know what's even more nifty? Sharing this video with your fellow Tenno and subscribing to stay up to date. We post 3 videos a week, so there's bound to be other stuffs of ours you like. In fact, if you did like this video, we'd be honored if you hit that there like button. As always, if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you for watching, Legion. Take care.